just have to tell you about my recent open day experience at two local schools and how this reaffirmed my conviction that it's absolutely essential for a school to create the wow for prospective parents at open days. For once, I was attending these open days without my school marketing hat on, and instead I was there as a prospective parent for our 10-year-old son. To say my experience at the two open days was different is quite possibly the understatement of the year. The marked difference was really unanticipated because, in all honesty, the two schools should have been on a level playing field. They're both secondary schools, they're both local to us, they're both selective intake, and on that open day they both had a heaving room full of prospective parents to show off to. So what was the difference between the two schools? So I'll call them school number 1 and school number 2. And school number 1 went something like this. The head teacher stood up to deliver his much anticipated speech and instantly announced that he wasn't going to share any information about the school. He cited the example of academic results and said all that information could be found on the website. Instead, he decided to hand over to Pupils, as he said they were better placed to talk about the school and what it offers. The pupils did a great job, but I beg to differ with the head teacher. In the first instance, I wanted to hear about the school from his perspective. I wanted to hear what the school could offer to our son and what he would gain from attending the school versus the rival school down the road. And yes, even though I could do that research myself on the school website, I wanted to hear his view of the school and how he leads that school. Afterwards, parents were left to wander around the school, but there were too few tour guides on hand to help. Classrooms felt void of purpose. We were kind of just wandering aimlessly through them, unsure of what classroom we were in or what we were supposed to be looking at. So all a bit underwhelming. School number 2, however, felt different as soon as we stepped onto the school grounds. Everywhere and everyone was smart and tidy. Parents were being welcomed to the school. Teachers were engaging in conversation and they were interested in our son. There were vibrant classroom demonstrations, there was an organised pupil lineup ready to take parents around the school and more. And this is all before the head teacher stood up to give his speech. And what a speech. Tingles down my spine moment. Themed into 4 key values, the head clearly outlined what the school stands for. He conveyed with a quiet, respectful, but no-nonsense confidence that his school knows their pupils and how to get the best out of each and every one. In a similar fashion to the head of school number 1, the head then handed over to a handful of pupils to speak. But the difference was this felt good at this point of the proceedings. Why? Because the head had set his stall out, he'd set the tone, he was in charge, and it was evident that his pupils had a strong leader to follow. Just so helps that the pupils were amazing in their delivery as well. So therein lies the difference. To give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe school number 1 was having an off day, or maybe they've become complacent in recent years because they're a popular school, or on the other hand, maybe school number 2 was particularly ignited that day. As I say, both schools have a fantastic reputation, so whichever it was, all I know is you can't be a strong leader with a strong vision for their school, a bit of slick organisation, a splash of pupil engagement and a dose of vibrant classroom action thrown in. Those open days certainly made our minds up about which school we'd like our son to go to, and the experience offered at those events heavily outweighed any preconceptions we had about either school. So really, really powerful, and it just reaffirms Stickman's belief that you have to create the wow at those events. They are such a key contributor to the decision-making process for a prospective parent about a school. So if you're feeling that your open days have room for improvement, it's probably time to go back to the drawing board and work out how to create the wow. And if you need any help with any aspect of your admissions process, open days or otherwise, please get in touch.